A very good morning to you. Welcome to today's data structures class. In this particular class, we'll be discussing about a new data structure called queues. So before to this, we have studied about two linear data structures called linked list and stack. Before that, we have studied arrays also. So arrays, linked list, and stacks we have studied. And queue is one more linear data structure, because if you look at the broad category of classification of data structures, they are categorized into two entities: the linear data structures and non-linear data structures. So linear data structures appear in linear fashion, whereas non-linear data structures appear physically in non-linear way. So now let us see what actually is a queue and how that queue can be used in programming and how it's going to help. So basically, basic usage of queue is in CPU scheduling or process scheduling. Whichever process has created first, that will be given to the processor. So that will be studying in computer architectures and all. So coming to the introduction for the queue, we must have used the queue and we have heard about the term called queue in our day-to-day lives. So there was a difference between stack and array. That is, in array we were able to insert element either in the beginning or at the end or at the in between. But in case of stack, we were able to insert only element at the one end. That is called as top end of the stack. That is called as top end of the stack. So very similar to stack, we have the queue data structure, but through different ends. One end for inserting elements, other end for deleting elements. So that is the key and significant difference between stack and queue. So in stack data structure, we were having only one end, the top end, we were inserting elements on the top end and deleting elements from the end. Whereas in the queue, we have whereas in queue we have two ends. That is one called as front end, another one is called as rear end. From rear end, we will insert elements from the queue. From front end, we will be deleting out the elements. We will be deleting out the elements. Right? So let's see the basic fundamental concept about the queue. So if you look at this diagram, we will be using this. We will be seeing or we will be going to such queues in our day-to-day life. This is just a queue of people. So a set of people are standing in a queue, and this particular queue is having two different ends. This is called as rear end or back end. This is called as rear end or back end. From this particular end, new person will be entering. That is, new person can enter from this particular end. And the every queue is having one counter here. Somewhere you can assume one counter here that will be serving the people, and they can exit from this front end. They will get the service done and they will exit from this end. And this particular end of the queue is called as front end. This particular end is called as front end. So basically by this what we can assume here is, in the queue only a new person can enter into the rear end. Ideally the new person can enter into the queue at the rear end. The new person is not allowed to enter somewhere in between, and they are not even allowed to enter from the front end of the queue. So ideally they should enter from the rear end and they should come out from the front end. So such concept is being used in the queue data structure. So another example of queue can be, it is an assembly line. That is, some bottles are being filled out and they are being given with the cap. So when cap is, or some processing is being done with the set of bottles. So they are following this queue, and this is what is front end, and this is what is rear end of the queue. Rear end and front end of the queue. So they will get the service done. All the assembly will be done for the bottles, and they will exit the queue. And it is a normal queue of bottles. So such queues will be using in our day-to-day lives. And similar to this organization, our queue data structure is also going to function. Our queue data structure is also going to function. And with this scenario, uh, whatever bottle is entering at the last, entering at the first, that will be going out first, or last in last out, last in last out. So that's why the queue data structure is also termed as first in first out data structure, or it is said to be working based on the principle of first in first out. Why? Because whoever person is entering into the queue first, they will be moving across the queue and they will leave the queue first. That means first in, the person who is entering into the queue first will get the service done first, and the person will be leaving out from the queue first. So because of the nature of this data structure, it is said to be working on the principle of first in first out. That is, whichever element is entering into the queue first, that element will come out first. That is the nature of the data structure, and it is said to be working on the principle of first in, first out. Now, one practical example in case of computer system, or some practical scenario, what we can assume here is where the queues are useful. So let us assume that there are a set of computers which are networked. That is, some networked computers are there and some resources are there which are being shared among themselves. And when some set of resources are being shared, every person or every computer is allowed to make use of the resource in a systematic manner. And what is the ideal manner to be given here is, we can create a queue of requests, and those requests will be served based on their arrival. Based on their arrival. So say for example, this is the common printer which is the resource. There is one resource and these are the users. That is, user A is first user, second user, user C is third user, and user 4. They can be either users or the processes or programs being executed by the users. So assume this is one program A or process A, user A. So whatever you can assume. So these four users are there, and all of them want to make use of the same resource called printer. They have their own documents and they want to get the printout of those documents from the printer. In such scenario, what can happen here is, every user will be sending a request to the print, and as soon as the request is coming in, they will be placed in the print queue. So what this print queue does here is, whenever requests are coming from the users or the programs for the printer, they will be placed at the front of the queue. So in this scenario, it is being assumed that user C is requesting first. In the timeline, user C is requesting first. So the request of user is placed at the front of the queue. The request of user C is placed at the front of the queue. Next, it is being assumed that in the timeline, after a few minutes or few seconds, user A is making the request and its request is placed after the request of C. That is first in, first out based manner. Then request D is requesting, that is in the order third process or third user is D. So D's request is being placed in the queue. Then later B is requesting. Later B is requesting. Now they are placed in the print queue or a normal queue, which is containing the order of the request for the printer. So when the printer is available, first process C will be serviced or user C will be serviced. Then the documents from the user C will be printed. Then user A will be serviced. Once the service of the C is done, that will be deleted from the queue, or that will be removed from the queue, because once the service is done, it need not be present in the queue. Then after that, if the service of A is done, it will be removed out from the queue. Then later service of D will be done, then service of B will be done. And it is possible that at some point of time, the process C or user C can again request the printer. In that case, it should come and it should be placed at next to the B, because whatever requests are coming in, they must be processed in the first in first out manner. First in first out manner. Whereas if you assume in the stack, that was last in first out manner. That is, whichever element is going out in the stack last, that will be coming out first. Now this is the practical scenario where we can make use of the queue data structure. Queue data structure, and the key point to be remembered here is like how in stack we call the insertion operation as push operation. We call inserting elements onto the stack as push and deleting out elements from the stack as pop. So same way, all the queue insertion, that is, if you insert an element into the queue from the rear end, then it is termed as NQ. While if you delete the elements, they are termed as DQ, NQ and DQ. So these are the typical terms which you should know, but we will be not using these terms. We'll be using the terms very rarely. Usually the term insert and delete will be used for the processing of queues. These typical notations you should know. This was the sample example for the queue. Now let us see the logical representation of the queue. So how basically the queue is represented in the memory. So queue can be represented by using either arrays or linked list. So if we are representing queue using arrays, then we'll be representing it with the help of consecutive or continuous memory locations or contiguous memory locations for the queue. So this is one example scenario for the queue, and this is what is the logical representation of the queue. This is front end from where the elements are removed out. This is the front end of the queue from where the elements are removed, and this is the rear end from where the elements are inserted. Front end and from where the elements are inserted. From rear end, we insert the elements onto the queue. From front end, we delete out the elements from the queue. This is the logical representation of the queue. On the counterpart, if you compare that with the stack, in stack, what we do, we have only one end called top end. We insert the elements from the same end for the stack, and we delete out the elements from the same end. For the stack, insertion and deletion are taking place at the same end. That is, whichever element is going inside the stack at the last, that will come out first. So it is last in first out data structure. Whereas in queue, it is possible to insert new elements only from the rear end, So whichever element is going first, that element will come out first. So it is working on the principle of first in, first out. Right? So as I said, we can implement queue in two ways, either by using arrays or by using linked list. Queues can be implemented by using arrays or linked list. So if you are making use of arrays, then it can simulate the linear representation. That is, they can occupy the contiguous memory locations. Contiguous memory locations can be occupied if we are going to make use of the array. That means contiguous memory locations. If you are going to make use of the linked list, that may not be possible to occupy the contiguous memory locations. Because what happens in the linked list, a memory for the new node will be allocated from the space wherever memory is available. Whereas in array, what we do, we reserve the memory at the time of compilation. Array is an example for static memory allocation, whereas linked list is an example for dynamic memory allocation. So dynamic memory allocation, during the execution, wherever memory is available, that will be taken and allocated to the nodes. And the set of queue operations. So this is what you should know, the definitions. That is summary of the discussion. A queue is a linear data structure in which items are inserted from one end, and that particular end is called as a rear end. and we can delete out the elements from the other end, that is called as front end. And what is, you may be asked like the principle, what is principle of first in first out? So first in first out principle specifies that data items are inside, whichever data item is inserted first in the queue, that is the data item which will be removed out from the queue. That will be removed out first from the queue. So it is called as first in first out principle. So it is called as first in first out principle. Right? So now let us see the set of queue operations what we can perform. As usual, we can perform two possible operations with the queue. Either we can insert the elements onto the queue or we can delete the elements from the queue. So these are two key operations what we can perform with the queue. We can insert the elements onto the queue or we can delete out the elements from the queue. So what the insert operation is going to do? Insert operation is going to insert new elements into the queue, and delete will remove out the element which is present at the front of the queue. The element which is present at the front of the queue. So if you can see, this figure will help us to understand how actually the insert will take place and how the delete operation will take place. So assume this is the queue in which there are already some elements here. That is, the front pointer is pointing to -2 and rear pointer is pointing to the element 4. And basically, while you go for implementing, we will be specifying the index values for this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So this indexing and implementation details we will see later. Now this is what is front end and rear end. In this present queue scenario, if you want to insert a new element, say I want to insert a new element called 5. So what will be the scenario? After inserting a new element, we know that new element can only be inserted from the rear end and the elements can be deleted out only from the front end. When you insert a new element 5, so 5 is inserted next to 4 and then rear will be incremented. But usually in the implementation, how it happens here is the rear pointer is made to be incremented first, rear is incremented first, and then in that location 5 is inserted. And this is the scenario after inserting element 5 onto the queue. This is the scenario after inserting element 5 onto the queue. Now, when this is the scenario, let us take the same scenario here and let us try to delete one element from the queue. That is what happens whenever you delete an element from the queue. We know that elements are always deleted from the front end of the queue. So wherever the front pointer is pointing, that element will be deleted first. For every operation onto the queue, you can insert either one element at a time or you can delete only one element at a time. So whenever you are performing deletion, the front element here is -2. So if you want to delete an element from the queue, -2 will be deleted. So this is the scenario after that. What is that scenario? After deleting -2 here, what we do, we will increment the front and make it to point to the next front element, because front always points to the element which is present at the front of the queue. Rear always points to the element which is present at end of the queue. So once you delete this, 22 will become the front element or first element present in the queue. That's what we are doing here. We are incrementing front after deleting -2, and this is the scenario after deleting one element from the queue. One element from the queue. So that is what is the implementation. That is what is the operations what we can do with the queue. So let us so the note to be remembered here is the front and rear indicators are quite significant in queues context, because in real time life also the queues functions in the same way. What is that? From the front end we get the service done and the person will be going out. From the rear end, new person will enter into the queue and they will be waiting in the queue. Now if you want to insert a new element onto the queue, what are the steps to be followed? The very first step is obtain the element which you want to insert. That is the very first step. Very similar to the operations are very similar to stack. Only some changes are there. First, obtain the element which you want to insert, then increment the pointer rear, because rear is the pointer which is always used to insert new elements onto the queue. Then third step is just store the received element in the new location pointed by the rear. New location pointed by the rear. So when you want to realize it in terms of programming, we should study the steps or the algorithm. So this is right. So these are the algorithms here for the implementation of the queue. So before that, what I will do, just for the explanation of this, I'll take one example. So let us take one example here. This is one normal queue in which this is what is front end and this is what is rear end. And whenever you start with this, what we do here is we are assuming F for the front and R for the rear. So if the indexing is starting like this 0, 2, 3 and 4, we will assume that front and rear both are pointing to -1. So if you want to insert a new element, we know that rear is a pointer. From this end, you have to insert. So what you have to do is first receive the element. So what is the element you want to insert? So let us assume that we want to insert an element called 10 into the queue. Then increment the queue pointer, because we know that this is the pointer which is always used for inserting the new elements. So next step is you have to increment this rear pointer. Make this rear to point to this location now. That is very first location because the whole queue is empty. Then the third step is store the received element in the location pointed by the rear. Store the received element in the location pointed by the rear. That is what is 10. That is what is 10. And we know that front will be always pointed to the first element. So instead of making front to point here, let us make front to point to 0. All right. So now the front pointer is pointing to 10 and rear pointer is pointing to rear pointer is also pointing to 10. I'll take it here and explain both of the operations. Right. Assume this is the queue in which we can insert some elements, and you will be specifying some size for the queue that all will see later implementation part. And this is rear end of the queue and this is front end of the queue. So what is the procedure? First thing is you have to obtain the element which has to be inserted, that is 10 in our case. Then make rear to point to the first index, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the index values. From the rear end you insert the 10. That means whenever you insert from the rear end of the queue, the 10 will not be kept here. It has to come and it has to be placed at the front of the queue. Because what is the logic? Whenever a person enters into the queue, the person will not stand there itself. The person will move to the front of the queue. So that logic is being used here. The element should be moved at the front of the queue, because whenever the service is available, that person will get the service first and that person will leave the queue. That is what is front end of the queue. Now if you want to insert one more element, now it is assumed that front is pointing here, front pointer, and this is the rear pointer. Rear pointer will always point to the rear end of the queue, front will always point to the front end of the queue. So let us assume that you want to insert one more element called 20. What is the procedure? First obtain the element to be inserted, then increment the rear pointer. Earlier rear is pointing to this index. Now we will make the rear to point to the next location. I'll write short form R for the rear. Now rear is made to point to the next free location in the rear end of the queue. Next step is insert the element in the location pointed by the rear. So this we go on repeating until the queue becomes full if you have specified some size. So assume that you have inserted elements, so many elements. Now rear is pointing to this location and front is pointing to this location. And what is the procedure to delete the elements from the queue? If you want to delete an element from the queue, that is the very first element which will come out from the queue first. That is whichever is located at the front of the queue. In this case, 10 is the element which is located at the front of the queue. If you delete, 10 will come out. That means if you delete, 10 will come out. That we shall see later. Let us go back to the insertion is over and delete operation. What are the steps to be followed when you want to perform deletion? Whenever you are trying to delete some element from the queue, what are the steps? Right. So let us see that the deletion is involving the steps. What are the steps? Retrieve or remove the element from the front of the queue. So that is the first step. Whatever element is present at the front of the queue, you delete that. Then you have to increment the rear point. Then you have to increment the front pointer. Why? Because whenever the first person is leaving out from the queue, then the second person will become the first person in the queue. Then third person will become the second person. So that is to simulate that you have to increment the front pointer always after every deletion. So what we have to do here is, if you want to delete one element from the queue, what you do is we remove out the front element from the queue. Then we make front, instead of writing here, I'm just writing here front to point to the next element in the queue. Now front will not point here because next 20 is the element which will get the service immediately after whenever the service is available. Now front is made to point to the next element. If you want to delete one more element, what is that procedure? Simply remove the element from the front of the queue. Then advance the front pointer. What is the procedure? Simply remove the element from the front of the queue. Just remove the element from the front of the queue, then advance the front pointer. That is a very simple procedure. That is a very simple procedure for performing insertion and deletion. Let us say for our explanation purpose, I will extend the queue size for some more elements. These are all index values which we'll discuss later. Okay. In this scenario, now if you want to delete one more element from the queue, what is the procedure? Just remove the element from the front end of the queue, then advance the front pointer. Make front to point to the next element. This is how we delete the element. Next, if you want to insert one more element into the queue, we know that we can insert elements from the rear end of the queue. That is, this is what is rear end of the queue, and we can delete elements from the front end of the queue. Now, when in this particular situation, if you want to insert one more element called 60, what is the procedure? First, you have to obtain the element which you want to insert. The element which I want to insert is, let us assume that 60. I want to insert a new element called 60. Then you have to make the rear to point to the location where you want to insert the element. That means perform rear is equal to rear plus 1. That means increment the rear pointer and make it to point to the next location. This is what is rear pointer. We have made rear to point to the next location from the rear end, and once rear is pointing here, this will be removed. And once you obtain the location, store the obtained element in the location pointed by the rear. Store the obtained element in the location pointed by the rear. So 60 will be stored here. Now further, if you want to insert one more element called 70, I want to insert one more element called 70. What is the procedure? Just increment the rear, make it to point to the next location. Then in the location obtained by the rear pointer, store the new element, that is 70. When you want to delete an element from the queue, what is the procedure? Front is always pointing to the first element in the queue. Just deletion. Let us delete some elements now. 40 will be deleted from the front end of the queue. Then make front to point to the next location. When the front is pointing here, this will be deleted. So what is the general procedure here? Whenever you want to insert an element onto the queue, you have to increment the rear, and place the element onto the queue. And whenever you want to delete the element, then increment the front pointer. So insertion, first we increment and insert. Deletion, first we delete, then we increment. So this logic you must know. And in both the cases, whether you perform insertion operation or the deletion operation, we should check the queue full and empty conditions both. That we'll discuss now later. That is, whenever you want to insert the new elements onto the queue, check whether queue is full. Because if queue is full, we cannot insert new elements onto the queue. Before every deletion or display, you have to check whether queue is empty. Because if queue is empty, we cannot delete the elements from the queue. So these two conditions we have to check always for every insertion or the deletion of the queue. Right? So this is one example scenario is given, which shows the different set of operations, delete operations, how we can perform queue. So let us assume that this is the empty queue, which is in the beginning queue is empty and front and rear both are pointing to, you can assume anything, either they are pointing to null or -1, right? So this is just an empty queue. Whenever you insert a new element called A onto the queue, we are inserting a new element onto the queue and front is pointing here and rear is pointing to the same element. Rear is pointing to the same element. So that means what are the operations here? Insert A, insert B. So what I will do, because there you cannot imagine directly because the figures are directly shown. What I will do is I will take the own queue here. So when this is the case, what I will do, I'll be following short form F for front and R for rear. Now, what is the first operation that we're doing? Insert an element onto the queue. So we know that this is the front element, and once you insert the new element from the queue, that is element A will be placed here, and the assumption being made here is that is the front element and that is the rear element, because there is only one element onto the queue, and that itself becomes the first element as well as last element present in the queue. That is the first insertion what we have done. So second operation is insert an element called B. When you want to insert an element called B into the queue, first we have to make rear to be incremented. Rear should be pointed to the next location, and in that location we'll be placing B. In that location we'll be placing B. So B is successfully placed now. What is the next operation? Next operation is insert C. That means we should insert one more character called C in the queue. To insert C here, what is the procedure? Just increment rear and make it to point to the next free location in the queue. Rear is being incremented and C will be placed in that location. That is, we have inserted character C in the queue. Now delete. See here, the insert operation only will take the parameters. Delete operation will not take any parameters. Why? Because we are simply deleting the element which is present at the front of the queue. So when you perform delete, what happens? When you perform delete, obviously this element A will get deleted. So what is the procedure? Simply delete the element from the front of the queue, then increment the front pointer. Then increment the front pointer. Now B becomes the first element present in the queue. B becomes the first element present in the queue, which will be deleted later. Next operation, let us see that insert Z. I want to insert one more element called Z. So if you want to insert a new element called Z, see, this is the next operation what is given. If you insert in this particular scenario, if you insert new element called Z, so what is the procedure? Increment the rear and make it to point to the next free location at the rear end. Then at that location, insert the new element called Z. Now, this will not be the rear point. Next operation. What is the next operation? We are deleting one element from the front of the queue. You have to delete one element from the front of the queue. What is the procedure? Just remove the element from the queue, then make front to point to the next element in the queue. That is the procedure for deleting. What is the next operation? Again, we are performing deletion. That means we are deleting one more element from the queue. So when you delete one more element from the queue, what is the procedure? Just remove the element from the queue and then make front to point to the next location. Now in this scenario, front and rear both are pointing to the same element called Z. So these are some set of operations what we can perform is, as you can compare. This is the final result here. Z is placed. Z is present in the queue where front and rear both are pointing to the same location. So this is how the queue is implemented with set of with operations called insert and deletion. So to summarize here, as I said, before deleting an element, we need to check whether queue is already empty. Because if queue is empty, we cannot delete the elements. If queue is already empty, then there is nothing to be deleted. And such a situation, we can call it as a queue underflow. Like how we use the terms in stack. Queue overflow, stack overflow and stack underflow. Same way we can use those terminologies in the queue. Queue underflow, what this situation indicates, you are trying to delete an element from the queue in which there are no elements, and that particular situation is called as queue underflow. Similarly, queue overflow. The queue is already full, but you are still trying to insert elements onto the queue, and that situation is called as queue overflow. We have to check these two conditions whenever we are implementing the queue data structure. Now let us go for implementation of this queue data structure. So as I said earlier, we can implement queue by using two ways, either by using stacks or by using linked list. So there are two ways for implementing this. Either we can make use of stacks, not stacks, it is arrays. We can implement the queue by using either arrays or by using linked list. Like how we implemented the stack. We implemented the stack using either arrays or using linked list. Same way we can make use of either array or the linked list for the queue implementation. So in the array implementation of the queue, so these checkpoints, what it says here is, what is queue insert operation? That is just inserting an element onto the queue from the rear end is called as queue insert. What is queue deletion? Removing an element out from the queue from the front end is called as delete operation. Now let us see the array implementation of the queues. That is how we can implement the queues using arrays. So I feel this has to be covered in the next class. Because along with this implementation, theoretical algorithms and then the program, both together, if we cover on the same day, it will be good, because we have left with 10 minutes. I'll stop the class now.